Good day and welcome to the UFC 190 conference call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I'd like to turn the conference over to Mr. Dave Schaller. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Jamie. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the UFC 190 media conference call Saturday, August 1st, UFC 190, reigning champion Ronda Rousey versus number 7 ranked Bethe Correia. Let's go ahead and get started, Jamie. We'll get right into the first question.
If you'd like to ask a question over the phone, please signal by pressing star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, we'll pause just a few moments to allow everyone an opportunity to signal.
Jamie, we can go ahead with Lance Pugmire from the Los Angeles Times.
And we'll take our first question from Lance Pugmire.
Hi, Rhonda. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Real good, real good. I just wanted to ask you, one of the things that has made you so unique is your willingness to sort of, take on those assignments that perhaps some champion fighters would be reluctant to take. I mean, coming back within about 56 days for McMahon, and then, now going to Brazil for Bethe. What makes you do that? Do you feel a responsibility as a champion to do basically whatever the UFC needs to help grow the sport?
Yeah, I feel a lot of responsibility in that I feel like I want to be the most reliable champion in the company. It's not that I've never had an injury for a fight, but I've never pulled out because of one. And whenever they've called me, I've always showed up when I was needed. And I need to challenge myself and give myself more challenges so that I still feel like I have to give myself that underdog feeling where I still have something more and more to work for, and I'm putting more on myself. Before the Take 2 fight, when I went and filmed 2 movies right beforehand, and then, like you said, with McMahon, I did the other one 56 days afterward, and then I went and did the Davis fight when I already needed knee surgery, and then, this one, taking it purposely when I don't have the home court advantage. I mean, that's another thing. It really keeps me motivated, and I want the fans to know that even though I'm doing a lot of other things, I want to be the most active champion out there as well.
Great. One of the things that Dana White spoke about in praising you was your durability. Do you have a great explanation as to why you possess that?
My durability? Well,
yeah.
After 2 Olympics, and I've been doing this for so long, it's not like I walked into a gym one day with, I was my boyfriend was a fighter and I decided to give it a try. This is like my life. I spent my whole life doing this, and I was just telling a story the other day when I was I think 12 years old. My judo coach Justin, me and him were being coached by his dad, and we were at this training camp, and we had to pull ourselves across the mat. I think we had to do 30 laps back and forth across the mat, pulling ourselves on our arms, on our stomachs, and we burned all the skin off of our elbows, and we were all bleeding through our gis. I remember one of my friends threw up at the end of the day. We trained for 6 hours, and we're 12-year-olds. I've been doing that kind of gnarly stuff for so long that it's I feel so pampered and spoiled now that I'm a professional athlete. I mean, what he calls durability, I call it as being well taken care of and making my job a whole lot easier.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
And we'll take our next question from Mitch Abramson with New York Daily News.
Hey, Rhonda. How are you? Rhonda, you've been very outspoken in your comments about Floyd Mayweather, especially at the ESPYs. And I'm wondering, lots of other athletes haven't been as outspoken about Floyd compared to you, and I'm wondering just what's behind it. I mean, do you not see him as a good role model?
No, it was more of a response from the ESPYs the year before that when he made some snarky comments about me, and it was a day after surgery, and I was sitting on my couch, and I was just thinking, one day I'm gonna have my opportunity to say something back, and I'm gonna wait till I beat him in something. And I told myself that day, I was I'm going to beat him for best fighter one day, and he won't be able to pretend to not know who I am. And if I didn't win this year, I would have waited a whole other year, or a year after that. I would have waited 4 or 5 years if I had to. But it turns out I didn't have to wait that long.
comment you said about him, now Floyd knows how it feels to be beaten by a woman. Was that referencing his past history of domestic abuse?
I would think that's pretty obvious.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ronda.
Okay.
We'll take our next question from Damon Martin with Fox Sports.
Hey, Ronda, thanks for taking the time. My first question is about this last week, and I don't want to take the attention away from Bethe Correia, but I have to ask, did you get to see, I know Dana said he was tweeting you updates, but did you ever get a chance to see Miesha Tate's performance, and what did you think about her earning the next shot at the title?
I didn't see it. Yeah, Dana was texting me about it because I was about to go train at the time. But, I'm not surprised. She's a great competitor and a great athlete. I've always said amazing things about her as a fighter. And, I need these other girls. It's not like I could do this by myself. I need a dancing partner. And the analogy I use a lot is like, these girls are like plants. Sometimes you can grow a crop and you can harvest it year after year like Miesha. And sometimes you harvest it once, it'll never grow back. Like, I don't think Bethe will ever come back after this. But, I think this might be the final season that I can harvest the Tate crop.
There's got to be a part of you. You beat an opponent so many times, at some point maybe it doesn't become interesting to you. Is there still an interest in a third fight from you? Is it really just a matter of the UFC that's the fight they're going to make, so you're going to fight it? I'm just curious, your interest in fighting her a third time.
Well, there's fan interest, so then there's my interest. I'm interested in just defending my title as many times as I need to before I feel like I'm done. And if she's the best competitor and she's who the fans want to see, then yeah, I'm extremely interested in doing it. I'm an entertainer. I'm not just here for myself. So if that's what people want to see and she's the #1 contender, then yeah, I'm totally down. And she's the one that has piqued my interest after I'm done beating Bethe.
And last question, obviously there's been a lot of build up to this fight with Bethe, from her beating your teammates and kind of calling you out to obviously the controversial comments you made about the suicide comment. At what point did Bethe Correia, would you say, cross the line? Did she really kind of get under your skin? This seems like a much more personal fight for you than maybe some past opponents have been.
I think everything up until the suicide comments could have been understandable from a marketing point of view, but once she said that is when it really crossed the line and became truly personal for me.
Thank you, Ronda.
Well,
We'll take our next question from E. Spencer Kite with the Province.
My question's for Ronda. You had said at South by Southwest that you can't control the perception of you in the public, and that you don't want to assign yourself the label of a role model. But you've also always wanted to set a good example for your younger sister and the younger females in your family. With that in mind, do you take time to reflect on sort of where you're at from that standpoint, and sort of how do you see yourself in terms of perception and maybe in that role model sense?
well, for them, I try to show my little sister and my nieces and my nephew that ambition and hard work is a good thing, and that it pays off, and that honesty is a good thing, and it's always worth it.
And how much pride do you take and enjoyment do you take, and do you sit back and reflect on sort of where you're at in being part of this, I don't want to say revolution, but uprising of female athletes that are starting to get some recognition? Obviously, your Sports Illustrated cover, the great things Serena Williams has been doing. Do you sit back and take some of that in and reflect on it yet, or is that a down the road once the career's over situation?
Well, I think revolution is the right word. I do believe that there's a cultural revolution happening, and I'm so proud to be one little part of it. But the time for reflection, they're few and far between. Like, after the ESPYs, I had to go straight home and, make my training camp meal, and I really was not allowing myself to enjoy it until after I beat Bethe, and then I'll have 1 week to be kind of revel and everything, and then I kind of have to reset and start the cycle all over again and get ready to beat Miesha, So, there's, little pockets where I can really revel and appreciate everything, and then I have to really myself back in the space where, okay, things are awesome, cool things have been done, there's more things to do, and then start breaking the next goal into pieces and taking care of every one of those pieces along the way until, I have my next big challenge after that. So the last piece of this challenge is I'm just going to beat Bethe in the most fantastic and entertaining way possible, and then I can think about how great things are, and then I can think about, okay, what's the next step?
One last one. For this camp, you decided to sort of go the Rocky IV style, you've said, and isolate yourself and really train hard. What made this fight specifically be the one where you kind of broke away a little bit and secluded yourself as opposed to some of the other ones?
Well, I was kind of going nonstop between the last fight and this one with the book tour and everything like that, and the Entourage premiere and all those kind of things. And so when I get really overstimulated with outside things besides fighting, I really kind of have to rewire my brain to go out of that mode and back into fight mode. And so I try to just push the whole outside world. Everything that isn't fighting just had to be gone. And so I started camp way earlier. I started 8.5 weeks out. I just started isolating. I started saying, okay, no more anything else. I cut all of the other kind of workout. I went out into the mountains where I had no cell phone service and nothing, and started my camp out there. And then even when I came home, it was nothing but the gym and home. And it was actually really refreshing in a way. I felt really rejuvenated by that, and it really reaffirmed the fact that my hunger to fight is still there, and it's still the thing that holds that I have the most passion for more than anything.
Awesome. Thanks for the time.
Well, thank you.
Our next question comes from Matt Jewell with Boston.com.
Ronda, my question is, so of course you're obviously not going to be looking past your opponent this weekend, but looking at those sort of next steps you were talking about, obviously it was recently announced that you're going to be co-starring with Mark Wahlberg again in Mile 22. Is the next move back in the octagon, or are we going to see you back on the silver screen? And what are your thoughts on reuniting with your Entourage co-star?
Here's pretty much the plan. I'm going to beat up Bethe, then I'm going to take a little, a couple of weeks to rest, and then I'm going to go beat up Misha, and then I'm going to go and, I don't know, Thailand or wherever we decide to film. I'm going to prep for a month and start filming for 8 to 10 weeks, and then go beat up the next chick. That's pretty much my plan. As for working with Mark Wahlberg again, I mean, he's absolutely amazing. Such a cool guy. I mean, it's really nice to be able to meet people that have been able to sustain a public lifestyle and still stay really normal and cool and grounded, good people. And he's an amazing example for me. And so I'm not just excited to create something with him, but I'm really excited to learn from him and really be able to handle this kind of lifestyle with some of the grace and poise that he has.
Definitely. And before you went into the UFC, before the UFC even had a women's division, you were saying you're very vocal about how you're going to become the champion. Do you have any similar lofty goals for how you want to leave a legacy in Hollywood, or is that too far ahead in the future from what you're doing now?
I mean, there are things I want to do that never been done before. I want to be the first person to be able to in one long shot. I wanted to be able to do. I want to learn how to do car chases. I want to do car stunts. I want to do high falls. I want to do fights on my own. So I want to be able to do the first person ever to be able to do a fight scene, a car chase, and a high jump in one long shot with no stunt double, nobody else doing it. And so there's some little pieces of history that I think are yet to be made in Hollywood that I can do it.
Awesome. Thanks for the time, Ronda.
No problem.
And again, if you'd like to ask a question, that's *1 on your telephone keypad. And we'll take our next question from Brett Okamoto with ESPN.
Hey, Ronda, thanks for taking the time today. One of the things you've spoke about leading up to this fight is, perhaps prolonging it and making it, more embarrassing, more grueling kind of fight. It came to my mind, hearing you say those things is how does Mom feel about that? Because that's what you've always said when you've gotten questions about prolonging a fight, is that you want to get in and out as soon as possible and not take any damage because your mom is watching. So what has she told you, and what has her take been on your comments about possibly prolonging this one a little bit?
To be honest, my mom's pissed. She doesn't want me to do it. She chewed me out. And she wants me to end it as quick as possible still. And I promised her that, I'm not going to, I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to take any damage. And if it goes any longer, it's just because I'm punishing her more. And I am not going to purposely not finish her if I see something, but I could still drag it out and make the finish just a little bit more, thorough.
Okay. And this is a question you get a lot, but what is, your take on it, on that topic, going into the fight, just the fact that you're finishing fights so quickly, consumers are paying money to see these fights and they're ending so fast. I mean, do you feel almost a need, you used the word earlier in this call, entertaining. Do you feel like you need to entertain more, or do you feel like you're entertaining enough to these 14-second fights? They're well worth, the money that people are paying for these pay-per-views.
Well, I get really, mixed feedback. It's 50-50 where people tell me, can you break your own record, and can you do it faster, or can you make it longer? And so I think that the fans and people are aware that they're watching history. And even if it's a short fight, it's a historic short fight. I mean, if you were around back when Mike Tyson was in his prime, and he was knocking all these people out right away, and you couldn't tell your friends that you didn't see that because you decided you had better things to do that night, you would feel like an idiot that you didn't see it, because you could have. And I think it's got to the point where people are becoming aware that this is a very, very special time. And if they decide to do something else that day, it's going to be a moment that they could have witnessed and didn't. And so, I'm not going to call it and say, oh, this fight's going to end in 120 seconds, because I'm not. Those fights that ended that quickly, I did not intend for them to end that quickly. It's just that's how it ended up, because, I improvise while I'm out there. So, I'm ready for a 5-round war. That's how I walk out there, and that's what I prepare for. And who knows what's going to happen. But what people are seeing is the absolute peak of the athletic woman's potential, and that is always worth the money.
Yeah. Okay, and then one last question. One thing you hear about in the sport when people are going through a training camp is, when they don't want to get up in the morning, but they're like, it drives me crazy thinking that my opponent might be up and that he or she might be running, or I don't want to do the last round, but I'm paranoid that the guy I'm fighting on that date is doing that last round. And I wonder if you ever get that feeling, or if your motivation just comes from something completely different. Or are you in the gym sometimes thinking, well, Bethe might be going until 11 p.m. tonight, so I have to do the same thing. Do you ever get those feelings, or does that not happen for you?
I've been getting those feelings ever since I was a little kid. My mom told me the story. I was 15 years old, and I already trained 3 times that day, and it was almost midnight, and I was walking out the door to go running. And my mom stopped me, and she was like, what are you doing? You already trained 3 times today. And I was like, I just wanted to know that there was no other girl in the world that trained harder than me that day. And I went out and I went running, and I did a 4th workout that day. And that's something that I always had. It's like an innate thing. And that's where a lot of my confidence comes from, is that I know that I train harder than any of these girls, and I train more efficiently, and I train smarter. And there's nothing that they could do to possibly try and catch up. If anything, with every fight, they fall farther and farther behind, and their own insecurity of trying to keep up with me actually ends up with them being overtrained. Because if they try to train as much as I do and as hard as I do, they will end up being overtrained. And so it's actually better for me for them to have that insecurity in their mind and try to push themselves farther than their body will allow, because my body is just capable of taking more.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Ronda. Thanks again for the time. Appreciate it.
We'll take our next question from Liam Ducey with Fairfax Media.
Hi, Ronda. Thanks for your time today. Ronda, your emergence as the UFC's biggest star has really helped the UFC gain traction in Australia. There's been a lot of speculation about the November card, and your name has been thrown around a lot. Is that something the UFC has talked to you about? Is that something that interests you?
I mean, I would always want to come to Australia for any reason at all. It's actually it's the one like continent I'm missing, I think, besides Antarctica that I haven't been to. And I was actually walking with my mom like last night, and I was like, I want to go to Australia. Like Australia and New Zealand are like the two places that I really want to go. I haven't been yet. And yeah, even if I can't come there to fight, I would still want to come there, even just to visit if I could. So any reason that I could come up with, I want to go. But, first things first, I'm going to beat Bethe, and then we're going to plan the next step.
So,
I think we lost him. Let's go ahead and get to the next question, Jamie.
Take our next question from Alex Oates with Herald Sun.
G'day there. My question's for Ronda. The last caller, I guess, stole my thunder a little in terms of Melbourne, UFC 193. Just to add a little bit to that, Ronda, so is there a chance your next fight after Bethe could be Miesha Tate in Melbourne, UFC 93?
There's a chance that I could be under 56 days from now. So, yeah, there's definitely a chance. I wouldn't be surprised by anything. I wouldn't be surprised if they asked me on the mic right after I got done beating the crap out of Bethe if I'd want to go fight in Australia. Nothing would surprise me now.
Yeah, but you'd be happy to take, obviously you're both high-profile Americans and probably two of the best women fighters in the world. Would it bother you to, I guess, take that off your home soil and fight in Australia?
Not at all. I mean, if I'm willing to fight a girl in her hometown where she has the home field advantage, I mean, I obviously would have no problem going to Australia, which is not just neutral territory, but absolutely gorgeous neutral territory.
Very good. Thank you very much, Ronda. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
And again, if you'd like to ask a question over the phone, that's *1 on your telephone keypad. And we'll take our next question from Stephen Lieberman with Culver City Observer.
Yeah, this is for Ronda. You speak a lot. You've spoken a lot during this press conference about your childhood, and I was curious if you could elaborate a little bit on that and tell us what age were you when you got interested in martial arts, and who was your inspiration, and who were your role models and influences, fighters out there at the time, and how you developed such great confidence.
Well, I started judo when I was 10, and my first tournament was on my 11th birthday, so I usually count it from there. And my main inspiration was my mother. She was the first American to ever win the world championships in judo, and it's really easy to think that you're capable of anything when you have a world champion walking through your living room. Excellence was expected in my family, always. And me and all my sisters, we were told you could do whatever in the world it is you want to do, but you got to be the best in the world at it because that's what you're capable of. And my confidence really just came from years and years and years of hard work. And, I mean, I would be, 11, 12 years old, and I would fight in 2 different tournaments in a weekend in 3 divisions in both tournaments, and then, so that's 6 divisions in a tournament and probably 4 matches in each, and that's just every weekend or every other weekend when I was a kid. So I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of matches and so much more competition experience than these girls could ever have. I mean, how many matches does Bethe really have? Under 10 in her whole life in any sport? I mean, I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of matches. I've had times where I've been planted on my face and my entire body's scorpioned over, but I had to not touch my toes to the ground because that way it would result in a score, and then I had to jump up and find a way to win anyway. I've had fights where I had my elbow dislocated and had to pop it back in place and ended up throwing the other person in the last few seconds with the arm that was just dislocated because it just had to happen. I mean, I've been in every single situation that you possibly could think of. I've been as sick as possible and still come out and won anyway. I've had fights where I had such a terrible weight cut that someone jumped on top of me and ended up throwing up in the middle of the match where I had to wipe it up with my own arm, like under me, so the referees didn't see it, and I wouldn't get disqualified, and I still came up and smelling of vomit. I fucking won anyway. I mean, I've had so many thousands of experiences that this girl could never possibly have between when she decided that MMA was a cool idea till now, and she'll never catch up. And that's what confidence comes from. It comes from overcoming, and I've overcome so much more than any of these girls possibly ever could.
And your role models or who you were inspired, growing up to fight like or be like, whether it be a male or a female athlete, or you just feel like you're unique?
It was my mom. It really was. She wasn't just the first American in history to win, but she was innovative. She tore her knees out when she was 17 years old, and back then, the way the women fought were like very proper, technical, standing Japanese-style judo. And because she had no knees, she had to find a way to win around that. And so she got to be the absolute best at the things that everyone else was the worst at. And it wasn't really trendy for girls to lift weights and become strong and really pay attention to conditioning. And my mom did that. It wasn't really considered proper judo to be a ground-focused fighter, so that's what my mom did. She was the original armbar lady, and because she filled all the holes that everybody else had, that's what gave her the opportunity to be the best in the world, and that's the example that I like to follow.
Yeah, it's nice that you cherish your mom like that. You're lucky to have your mom, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Damon Martin with Fox Sports.
A couple questions for Bethe. Bethe, obviously, you are the underdog in this fight. I think everybody knows that. But does that take off some of the pressure, considering, how highly talented it is into this fight? Does it take any of the pressure off you being the underdog?
Christine, are you still there with Bethe?
Yes, just going to mention more.
Okay.
Eu sempre acostumada assim, às vezes, pra mim é totalmente normal. Eu acho que, pela minha história de vida, quem conhece a minha história de vida, não se surpreende. Eu tive que enfrentar o mundo, enfrentar a família, enfrentar até a razão, a lógica das coisas. Então, para mim, ter a zebra, para mim, não vejo nenhuma desvantagem. Entendeu? Até porque a pressão maior é para a Ronda. Eu não tenho nada a perder, ela se tornou a perder. Eu só tenho a ganhar, eu só tenho a conquistar o meu sonho. Então, eu não vejo nenhuma pressão, estou muito bem.
She said she used to be the underdog because of her life story, of what she had to face to get where she is today. And so being an underdog is not a disadvantage for her. By the contrary, the disadvantage is for Ronda because she has what to lose, and she doesn't. By the contrary, she has a belt to win, and Ronda has it to lose.
And I know that, obviously, we know you are a striker. You like to look for the knockout. Have you seen any tendencies, without giving away your game plan, but have you seen tendencies or weaknesses in Ronda's striking game that you feel like you can expose?
O meu jogo dessa luta é um de sempre. Eu vou ser aberto 10 vezes mais evoluída. Né? Então, assim, o jogo da Ronda é sempre muito falho pelo fato dela sempre buscar sempre a mesma coisa em todas as lutas. Né? Então, assim, ninguém nunca viu Ronda trocar, ela nunca trocou com ninguém. Então, eu adoraria que ela cumprisse a palavra realmente e viesse realmente a trocar um MMA comigo, de verdade. Eu acho que ela disse que tentou perdurar isso com a Misha Davis, mas eu não vi isso. Eu vi ela tentando derrubar a Misha Davis quase os 2 rounds inteiros. Então, se ela viesse dar, eu quero que ela entre no meu jogo mais completo, no jogo do MMA completo, vamos ver o que vai dar. Eu acredito muito que eu vou conseguir nocauteá-la e sim, o mais rápido possível. Acho que no primeiro round eu quero nocauteá-la.
She said that Ronda has always the same game.
and they'll find Bethe, the same Bethe, but 10 times better. And she said that Ronda's game is failed because she's always searching for the same thing, to go in the ground. And she hopes that Ronda keeps her promises, that is to really fight, trade MMA fight with her, and not go directly to the floor. She wants her to maintain her promise and not do what she always does, because she has she's not the fighter that always goes to the ground, as Ronda is.
And last question for Bethe. Obviously, Ronda has been a dominant champion, the most dominant champion in the UFC. If everything goes well and Bethe wins this fight, is she open to giving, obviously Ronda getting an automatic rematch? Would she be okay with that idea of fighting Ronda twice in a row if she's victorious this weekend?
Tô disposta a tentar ela 2, 3, até 10 vezes. Eu já disse que queria me aposentar invicta, estou no caminho certo para isso. Eu acho que eu passei, eu acho que eu ter sido tão subestimada, tão humilhada quando eu decidi lutar pelo MMA, que eu não entrei na brincadeira. Realmente eu tenho um sonho de fazer história. Eu não quero só passar na história do UFC, da história do MMA. Eu quero fazer realmente um legado, eu quero escrever realmente meu nome na história. Então, acho que agora chegou a minha hora, é o meu momento. Graças a Deus que eu vou ter essa oportunidade de lutar, e graças a Deus que é aqui no meu país. Então, agora é meu momento de começar agora a escrever meu nome na história. Eu acho que quando você pega o cinturão, é o começo da história. Então, aí sim que eu vou ter que batalhar bem mais para provar que eu sou a melhor do mundo, nem que seja ter que lutar com ela 10 vezes para isso. She said she's willing to fight Ronda as many times as needed, 2, 3 times before, it doesn't matter. And her dream is to retire undefeated, and she doesn't mind being the underdog because that makes her want to win harder. And she wants to retire with a legacy. She wants to make history. And the opportunity of fighting in Brazil and winning the belt is only the beginning for her to continue her history, making legacy. And she doesn't mind how many times she has to fight with Ronda.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Dave Biebert with Post Media News.
Hi, thanks you guys for the time. Just a couple quick ones for Ronda. In your book, it's just an anecdote that I remember. You said how you only throw. I think I'm paraphrasing correctly. That you only throw leg kicks when you're emotional. How do you go into a fight like this where maybe emotions do get a little high and not let those emotions get the better of you?
Well, for one, I won't throw any kicks. I just concentrate on my first exchange, and that's it. And I improvise from then on out. And once you're in there, it's like the emotions are gone. It's just observations and decisions and priorities of what to do. And that's what I like most about fighting, is because that's when the emotions go away. I'm so emotional when I'm outside of a fight that fighting is my escape from emotion.
No, I guess just a nice little segue, I guess, about things that you do enjoy. You talked about it, but so busy all the time, go from fighting to this to the next project. When do you take time through all of this to just enjoy your efforts? Do you, if you could, maybe just a couple little examples of just sort of the day-to-day things that you're just able to take in and just enjoy after all the work has put you in the position to enjoy it?
Well, since last fight till now, I really didn't take any time. That's one of my problems, is I'm very bad at resting. And that's why this fight I actually went through, I consciously, I'm like, okay, I'm really going to rest this time, because I have this problem where, I'll go win and I'll go defend my belt and I'll be at the gym like 2 days later because I just don't know what else to do with myself. And so I brought my whole family out here, partly because I want them to all personally see me beat the crap out of Bethe after she disrespected them all. But then I'm also going to take them all like resorting and stuff, and my little nephew's even coming, so I'm really excited about that. He's like the newest addition to the clan. So it kind of sucks because he was born right before the Ghana fight, and I got to see him for like a week, and then I went straight into camp, and I didn't see him at all. I didn't see him again until he was already like 8 weeks old or something like that. And so it's hard because I get pulled away from my family a lot, and so I purposely went out of my way. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. And then because then I went on the book tour and all that stuff, so then I didn't rest at all. And so I purposely, I'm like, okay, I planned it like months in advance of that. I'm going to spend like, I get like 4 days of vacation, but I'm pretty excited that I'm going to do these 4 days. I'm going to do it. And then even my coach was telling me, and he's like, telling me that I really need to rest this time, and he wants me to take like 20 days at least to like, if anything, only come to the gym like 3 days a week, over 20 days, which is like him trying to get me to rest. It's I don't know. I have this feeling all the time of like, I was talking to my mom about it just now before this call. We were walking on the beach, and I was just like telling her, we both kind of have the same thing where I have this. I can't shake that feeling of like I'm about to be addicted, and like that I need to do as much work as possible all the time, even when. That's the thing that kind of sucks about fighting is it's not a 9 to 5. You don't work from 9 to 5. I can always find more work for me to do. It never ends. And so like even when I'm not like training, I can find other things, and like I have like sometimes it feels like I have several careers going on at once, and that's one thing I'm still trying to do is really to rest and reflect and enjoy more, because it's going, I have a lot of time left, but there's only a finite amount of time, and one day it's going to be done, and I want to know that I really enjoyed myself while I was doing it. But I mean, I do enjoy it. That's why I can't stop. I'm back in the gym because I love to be there. My happy times throughout the day is like I wake up in the morning and I make my coffee, and I drink my coffee like while driving to the gym, and I get to listen to my music in the car. I mean, I'm really happy. And when I come to the gym, I run from the car into the gym because I'm so happy to see everyone, and I just want to go say hi to everybody. I give every single person in the gym a hug before I do anything, and because I love them so much, and I love to be there, and like that's the place where it's like I don't have a first and last name when I'm in the gym, It's a first name basis place, and that's where I rest, and that's what I love. That's my vacation, and if your job is your vacation, then you're doing something right.
So, I mean, even when you're walking along a beach like that, you still have a difficult time just letting your mind. I mean, you talked about like listening to your music in your car. You tweet about that a lot. It seems like you have some good times there, but just little things like that. You still have a difficult time. Or I guess you not always separating them. Able to completely give yourself some distance.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone outside and walked on the beach unless my mom came and knocked on my door and made me go out. Because I'm just sitting and resting in my room because I want to be, as rested in best shape possible for when I beat the crap out of Bethe. So I just will not leave my room. And like my mom had to come and grab me and force me to go walk outside, even though we're on this beautiful resort by the beach. Because sometimes I need that help. I need that help to enjoy, rest, take it in. It's not all about just I just get so super ultra focused. I think it's hilarious when people are like, she's doing movies and she's gonna lose her focus and she's all this stuff. I'm like, wow, you guys are counting on something that's really the opposite of my problem.
Okay. All right. Thanks again, Ronda.
Thanks.
We'll take our next question from Adriano Albuquerque with Globo.com.
Hi, guys. Thanks for the time. I'm going to ask Bethe a couple questions in Portuguese. Bethe, você está ouvindo aí a Ronda, né, falando em cada resposta dela que vai te bater, que vai acabar contigo, e falando, né, várias vezes que está muito emocional por causa dos comentários que você fez quanto ao suicídio, enfim, isso te faz sentir que você está na cabeça dela, que você conseguiu trazer algo dela, tirar ela do foco dela de repente? Eu acho que você ganhou uma vantagem nisso.
He asked if she, when listening the comments of Ronda, that she's going to hit her, she's gonna knock her down. It was the comment of she with the suicide. She felt that she was inside Ronda's head, and that makes her in a kind of an advantage. Primeiramente, essa história do suicídio foi muito bem claro, não tenho mais nada para falar com isso. Isso foi uma interpretação da Ronda. Então, eu acho que isso só mostra um pouco duas coisas para mim. Ou ela se mostra realmente que ela tem o psicológico realmente abalado, facilmente abalado, ou então ela se mostrou uma grande teste. Realmente ela está de parabéns com a atriz. Não sei, estou na dúvida se ela tem um psicológico fraco ou se ela realmente é uma grande atriz, que fez muito bem, porque quando você tem alguma trauma muito grande, você não fica vendo qualquer resposta, qualquer câmera para falar sobre o assunto, para chamar ele. Então, acho que quem está querendo promover isso é a Ronda. Então, se for realmente verdade, essa dor no coração dela que ela fez, realmente ela se mostrou realmente muito fraca psicologicamente, realmente poderia entrar sem querer, porque eu realmente não falei com intenção. Mas se ela quiser achar que realmente eu falei com intenção, eu não tenho problema nenhum quanto a isso. E ela tentar querer bater em mim na luta aqui da minha casa, fica até, eu realmente não consegui me acreditar, porque ela tem 11 lutas, e 11 lutas ela não conseguiu dar um mundo e machucar ninguém. Como é que ela tem ainda moral para chegar e capacidade de querer me machucar? Então, acho que quem tem mais a perder é ela, e quem vai ser realmente machucada, quem quer humilhar, acaba sendo humilhado, é a lei da vida. Então, eu vou para isso. She said, as the story of the suicide was already clear, it was a misinterpretation, and she really in doubt if Ronda's psychological side was really shaking, or if she's a really good actress and she's playing a very good role. Because when you have a real trauma, you don't go at any reporter to say about it, to show that really affects you. So that's shown that she has a weak side, and she's saying as trying to hit her in her own house. She has 11 fights, and in all those fights, she doesn't have one punch. So who often tries to humiliate too much is the one who's humiliated. And she wants to see Ronda trying to give her one punch. So the person who's really going to have it is Ronda, not her.
Bethe, e também essa preparação para a luta, né, nas entrevistas e tudo mais, você acabou atraindo muita atenção para ti com esse comentário, né, e também você viu todo o lado ruim também disso, né, o que você aprendeu com a atenção que você recebeu desde que foi anunciada essa luta?
He asked, at the preparation of the fight, of the interviews, after the comments of the suicide, the negative attention that she had from the media, and what she is waiting for the fight after those comments. What's her preparation? Eu não me arrependi nada do que eu fiz, ao contrário, eu acho que estou muito orgulhosa do meu trabalho. Eu estou disputando o título mundial aqui no meu país, na minha casa, tudo que eu sempre sonhei, é a chance da minha vida. Então, todo mundo quer ver o final dessa história, como é que vai ser. E foi tudo muito sincero. Tudo que eu falei de coração. Eu realmente provoquei sim a Ronda, porque realmente ela tem o que eu quero, ela tem um cinturão. E eu provoquei com sinceridade, falei o que eu penso, tudo que muita gente não tem coragem de falar, que a mídia coberta em relação à Ronda, porque foram feitos na imagem dela de uma heroína, de uma super mulher, querem fazer a imagem dela de uma heroína mulher americana. Então, realmente, eu vi isso, vi brechas, vi falhas no jogo dela, vi falhas no psicológico dela, vi coisas que falei realmente que queria bater nela, queria bater na vergonha dela, porque realmente eu acredito que eu falo tudo isso, nada que eu falo é de duvidoso. Realmente falei que queria lutar com ela, lutar pelo título, porque realmente eu me fiquei capaz de realizar esse meu sonho. Então, eu só fiz aprender coisas boas com isso. Eu me posso, se os sonhos dela ficou triste comigo, eu não tenho problema. Eu sei que quando eu fizer um cinturão no meu ombro, eles vão me escutar melhor e vão ver que eu estava com certo de razão em tudo isso que eu falei.
She said that she did not regret anything she said, no comment. She's very proud of her job and of her work as well. And this fight is a opportunity for her life because she's fighting at home. She's going to win at home. And everything was honest with her tear. And she provoked because because Ronda has what she wants, the belt. And she's going after it. And the media made of Ronda an image of the American hero woman. And she's always saying that she can hit her, that she can knock her down, that she can finish her. And she said that she can't do all that. She can't beat Ronda because she's seen flaws. She's seen her weak psychological side. And she knows that she will win. And when she wins, the Ronda fans that was disappointed with her, and they'll listen to her more and they'll pay more attention in who she is.
Obrigado, Bethe. Thank you, guys.
And we'll take our next question from Rico Silva with UOL.
Hi, guys. I will do a couple of questions in Portuguese for Bethe. Oi, Bethe, tudo bem? A trocação sempre foi seu ponto forte, mas é bem difícil acertar a Ronda. Você acredita que tem alguma chance se essa luta for pro chão, de vencer? E como é a sua primeira luta de 5 rounds, você se vê preparada para caso por decisão?
Yes, the provocation, the showcation that happened will affect the fight. And because the first fight was the opponent that always fights before. And she said, he asked if she really has thinks that she has the opportunity to win.
Eu sou uma lutadora moderna, eu sou uma lutadora de MMA. Eu não sou aquele tipo de lutador que vem do jiu-jitsu, vem do judô, vem do boxe e tenta adaptar a sua arte para a luta. Eu já comecei a se adaptar para lutar em qualquer situação. Como eu sou nova nisso, eu já entrei na academia para treinar MMA, treinar de tudo. Então eu não me vejo assim, nenhuma situação que me deixe desconfortável. O chão não me deixa desconfortável, em pé não me deixa desconfortável, cair não me deixa desconfortável, porque eu já fui treinada, já fui todos os dias treinando tudo isso, né? Então, assim, geralmente quem é de jiu-jitsu, quando vai tentar trocar, realmente se sente meio desconfortável, porque você sai da sua zona de conforto de anos e anos e anos. Então, assim, nada me incomoda, eu não tenho medo de cair, eu não tenho medo de lutar em pé, eu não tenho medo de derrubar. Eu não tenho medo de trocar, porque realmente eu sou lutadora do MMA, bem adaptada para tudo, de todas as situações.
She said that she's a modern MMA fighter. She's already adapted to fight in any situation. Is it on the floor? Is it on the air? She's not she didn't practice only judo or box. She didn't train only from one specific fighting. And when she entered to start the fight, she learned MMA by itself, not only one type of fight specifically. So any situation, she's very comfortable. Is it on the floor or standing? While somebody that comes only from jiu-jitsu, when it's on standing, fighting standing, it's very uncomfortable because it runs out of her comfort zone. So she doesn't see any problem, and for her it's very normal.
E você está preparada para uma luta de 5 rounds? Como é que está a sua preparação física para isso?
And if she's prepared for a 5-round fight.
Eu sempre me preparei para lutar 5 rounds. Até quando eu lutava só 3 rounds, eu sempre fui preparada para lutar 5. Então não tem problema nenhum. Hoje como eu vou lutar 5 rounds, interessa que eu fui preparada para lutar 10. Então, assim, a minha academia tem essa característica de sempre preparar o atleta para muito além, não só além, mas muito além do que é pedido da regra. Se a regra pede 3 rounds, ele se prepara a gente para lutar 5, 6 rounds. Se luta 5 rounds, ele está preparado para 10, no mínimo. Então, eu estou com gosto de gás aqui.
Obrigado.
She said that she's always prepared to fight. She's prepared to fight 5 rounds. The gym that she works, when it's a 3-round fight, they train her to fight 5, 6, almost always the times double. So if it's a 5-round fight, she's ready to fight 10, and she's very prepared. The gym is very used to preparing over the capacity that the fight's gonna call.
Obrigado, Bethe. Thank you, guys.
Obrigada também.
And that does conclude today's question and answer session. Mr. Schaller, at this time, I will turn the conference back to you for any additional or closing remarks.
Thanks, Jamie, and thank you to Ronda and Bethe for joining today's call. Safe travels to everyone making their way to Rio. Our media events kick off on Wednesday. Have a great day. UFC 190 this Saturday live on pay-per-view.
Thank you for your participation. This does conclude today's call.